What's up, everybody? We are back on another episode of Backstage Bucks County. With me today, I have a very, very special guest, a guy I've known for more than half of my entire life, and we haven't caught up in a really, really long time. He's a very, very good friend of mine, very good friend of our family, and an amazing transformation, amazing journey, and a guy I have a ton of respect for and admire a lot. Mr. Blake Guss, what's up, brother?
Hey, I've been looking forward to this, man. I'm really looking forward to seeing you.
Likewise.
For sure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. So to introduce the world to you and your message and all the things that you're about, and not only what you do but who you are, tell us a little bit about you, man.
Sure. So to tell you about me, I'm someone who I went to go deep off the bat with you, Matt. I struggled with mental health a lot throughout my life, but in my early 20s was really when it hit a point that I didn't know what to do, and I was looking for help. And I was someone who kept things secret, though, from the people around me, which I think it's pretty common, especially for men, especially for young men.
Yeah.
And I was too prideful to really tell people. Really, only my girlfriend at that time knew. I could get like real dark, or my thoughts could really start taking control of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking for help. So I was picking up anything I could that could help me, books and watching YouTube and what can help me, who feels how I feel, and got to the other side. And I kept hearing about meditation, and that led me on a path of checking out meditation, going to different yoga studios that would offer meditation, and eventually led me to a practice that helped me learn how to reflect on myself and learn how to release what I was holding. And I started to realize I thought my problems were just coming from what I was going through at that time, like in my early 20s.
Yeah.
But I started to realize, it's from my whole life of stuff that I never faced. I just always stuffed everything down, and I never faced what I was holding on to.
Yep.
And when I learned how to release and let go, it just started to change my life. My perspective started to change. I started to become more grateful. And yeah, I got super into it. I lived in Asia sometimes studying meditation.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to talk about that, man.
That was awesome. And I never planned to be an instructor of meditation. I mean, you know me my whole life. It's quite shocking to people who know me. Before, I was just into sports like you, and I was into business. I went to school for business, but it's something I fell in love with, something that found me. And when I started to help people part-time while I was working, I just loved it. And yeah, I ended up getting affiliated with 2 centers in New Jersey that I was helping run. And then these days I run a website, onlinemeditationevents.com, that started during the pandemic. And I spend most of my time these days training companies how to meditate and learn, especially in the wake of AI. I mean, we can get into that too, but emotional intelligence is so important. So that's why they usually bring me in to teach their employees about that, and also community sessions too to help the mental health crisis.
Yeah. You said it best. I knew you probably best from when you were maybe 12 to 18 years old, right? Like growing up, I was very close with your brother. And when you're growing up and you get to a point where you're 21, you probably start, you have ambition of building a business or building a family. Becoming a man it's hard, And what I have a ton of respect for you for is, like, it's so easy, rather than to pick up a book, to pick up a bottle, or to pick up a vice, or to just go down the path of bad habits. It's easy. Society makes it very easy for you to make that wrong choice and to follow that all the way down to the bottom. And a lot of people do that. But it's really hard, especially at 21, like in your early 20s, to recognize, like, there's something in me that just doesn't feel right, and I need to heal this first before I can show up for anybody else. How did you even discover that at that age?
For sure. So I wasn't perfect. I didn't go straight for the things that were going to help me. I tried every temporary relief that there was, but at some point, I think that happens for everyone. It starts not working. Definitely drinking was a problem for me. Definitely, I didn't realize weed was a problem for me. I know weed is legal and everybody sees it in a positive light. And I'm not like, tell people don't do this or don't do that, but I was abusing that also. I was scared of the super hard stuff, but still, I dabbled in different things. In college, you dabble in Adderall, you dabble in Xanax when you're super stressed out, and also just making the wrong decisions. So that's actually part of what got me into looking for answers, is like, I wanted to have control in my mind. I remember thinking, like, I told myself I'm not going to drink, but then drink. Or I told myself I'm not going to watch pornography, but
and then you
do
end
it.
up doing
Or I
it. Yeah.
told myself I'm not going to talk to this girl, and then she texts and I'm answering and I'm talking to her. So I'm like, why? I told myself I'm not going to do something. Why don't I have control of my own mind? Right? And
Wow.
and just for me, it was I wanted to be happy. I wanted to escape the pain, and I was sick of living up and down, and I didn't know that there was a way to actually live happily. Though I didn't really know anyone who really seemed like they're like genuinely happy. Maybe my grandparents, but like, you know,
Two generations removed from happiness. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I just realized too that for me, money wasn't going to make me happy. And that really like broke my world at that time. I think that's what made me really depressed because I thought
what made you realize that?
Just being around people who have money and then realizing like, wow, like they have the same amount of anxiety as me. Like and I'm talking about like really wealthy people. Like I had a really wealthy mentor at the time. And I was like, if you just look at their Facebook, it's like, it's perfect. And then you get close to them and it's like, oh, wait. And there's nothing wrong. It's great to have money. If you have peace inside, then you can help a lot of people and all these things.
Yep.
But I had all these issues inside. So I just had this realization like, damn, if I play the clock forward, like this isn't going away. Even no matter what I have on the outside, that feeling's not going to go away. And it could even just get worse for me. I'll probably start to numb it and do all kinds of other things to try to numb the pain. But I wanted a real solution if there was one. I didn't know there was one, but I started to try to seek for one.
No, it's incredible, man. What were some of the things that you'd feel comfortable sharing that you felt like you were trying to escape? Because, you know, and I say this asking you because you've actually come out the other side and found a solution and you found peace and happiness to the degree that you have. Most people struggle with something. Everyone struggles with something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether it is depression, anxiety, fear, doubt, like all these things, right? Everyone does. So what was it for you that you felt like you were trying to run from, you know, at that point?
Sure. Anxiety, depression, just like you said. I would have this feeling when I would wake up. As soon as my eyes open, just like, and then, you know, the thoughts, oh man, another day. And just this feeling of heaviness and feeling even tired when I would wake up, and I was having trouble sleeping also. Like waking up tired and then, then I'll be able to sleep tonight. But I sit down to sleep and then the thoughts just start coming about what's going on at that time, like some enemies I had, like people who are related to love or related to money or someone who hurt my pride, who screwed me over or this, and I'm thinking about how to get back on them, or I'm thinking about something from high school, or I just want to sleep, but my mind's, just going.
It wasn't me jacking you up in the lockers, it wasn't. Just making sure we're cool.
Brother, you never did anything like this, man. Of course. You were the coolest dude of all time.
Oh, get out of here. But for those of you watching, you heard that, so there's proof.
That's my image of you, bro. Always just like cool at anything you did.
Oh, thanks.
You made anything look cool. Like I said, you made the trumpet look cool. Like you made. Seriously, I remember that.
That is on record for my
mind.
daughters now, so they get to know at some point Dad actually played the trumpet in a cool way. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's actually one thing I wanted to ask you. I mean, we can keep talking about me, but
yeah, for sure.
Is like you were always super confident when I think about you. Always super confident, and you still are now. I'm wondering, where did that come from? Because it's something that people struggle with a lot. I know where my confidence comes from also. I never had like full. I can say like I went back and forth also. I feel confident now.
Yeah.
But your whole life, you always came off as so confident, and even now too.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I have maybe, I don't know the best way to say this. My perspective, probably similar to yours. Like I've gone through a lot of therapy and a lot of healing myself, and not until I was an adult. I don't know that a lot of when I was growing up, there wasn't a little bit of a false sense of confidence because of, you know, playing sports at a big school, you know, a lot of people constantly around. I always had a thing. I felt like a little bit of like man in the arena syndrome for me. You know, my dad being a coach, always playing sports. I had a standard based, and it wasn't anything my dad, you know, pressed on me at all because he was, you know, the opposite. But the expectation was if I was going to practice and it was something that I could run to, I was going to run to practice and be the first one there. So it was a lot of like mental edge that I had worked for to develop over the years and where I got that confidence from. So a lot of that was, my dad being a coach, just having a good positive influence in my life like that. And that spilled over into the home, at least from a sports perspective. I wasn't a great student. I was all right, but even at a very young age, I put in the work in sports. Like I knew walking onto any field in any sport, I was so prepared for that moment, whatever it was, because I outworked everyone on that field before we even touched the field.
I love that.
So for me, that's probably spilled over into my adult life a little bit.
Just want to ask you, with business and with music too, do you also prepare a lot?
Yeah, a ton, man. I think it just comes down to like just how you do anything is how you do everything for me. Like
Yes.
how you show up for your family and the frame of mind that you're in. I'm a big believer, and I don't know if you feel the same way, that if you do anything authentically and with great passion and just do it with positivity and optimism,
100%.
it's going to attract that back. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yes.
Do you feel the same way?
Yes, you do it from your heart, authentically, with positive. Yes, with a positive vibe. Yes, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. And authentically is the key thing, because I think that you can do anything inauthentically too, but you're going to get caught eventually.
100%.
That's what I see. So in the big game, in the long game, I love how you said that, authentically.
Yeah.
Because to me, God is real. What they call God, the universe.
Yep.
This is real, and I'm such a believer in that. So if that's true, then I better not be doing things inauthentically.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you have to live with yourself. And if you're trying to be something that you don't genuinely align with, like whether you catch it first or somebody else does and calls bullshit on you, then that unravels and you're like, wow, I tried to do something I'm really not. And then like, what does that say about how you can look at yourself in the mirror that night when you go to sleep?
Exactly.
So yeah, I don't know, man. I appreciate the very nice compliment. But a lot of it, very honestly, like I worked my ass off as a kid, not in the classroom, don't get it twisted, but for sports, I just felt like, I had a great role model and a mentor in my dad. I loved probably impressing him.
Legend, by the way. Ed. He's the man. He's the man.
Shout out Ed Freedman for sure.
He gave me a lot of confidence in Bick in the head, man. I was like, Ed.
Did he really?
Yeah. When I remember seeing him, I'm like, if I start losing hair, I'm just gonna do it right away. He looks cool,
Oh my God, I can't wait to show him this. It'll be like, wow, all these years later, still got it. But yeah, man, the authenticity thing, especially, you're call it a content creator or not, you do an amazing job on social media because you're authentic and you're consistent in your message, and you show up the same way every time. It's obvious that you're really genuinely helping people, with your message and the way you deliver it. And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck, is they think like they see other people doing a certain thing and like, wow, I feel that, so I can be that same thing. But it's like their path was probably very dramatically different than yours has to be to achieve success, and I'm sure you see that every day too.
For sure.
Yeah.
I always think about how I can help and how I can serve. And I think that's the best in anything that you do. Before I hit post on anything, my intention is always, who's this going to help? How can I serve? How can I help? Like that, instead of how can I get this many views? Or obviously there's some that goes into that, the first 3 seconds and this and that.
Right.
But the overall feeling and message is, if this helps one person, that's great. And that's my intention. And then when I do that, then it doesn't matter what people think too. It's like, who cares? You don't like it? That's up to you, right? Yeah. Because my intention is just to help. I'm genuinely trying to not do it for myself, genuinely trying to give love. I know that there's someone else who is struggling like I was struggling. And if this can help them, that would be great.
It's amazing, man. What's cool about what you're doing is that you were able to take something from like a very personal experience, childhood memories, trauma, whatever you want to call it. And you were able to formulate it in a way that not only you could understand yourself, but understand yourself well enough to communicate that message on how to help heal others. Was a lot of that for you like just you being authentic about the things you were going through and like your healing process to really attract people at first? Or, how did that like first part of the journey work for you?
Sure. So even it makes me think of, we were talking about anxiety. You were asking me like, what was the issues what pain was I escaping?
Mm-hmm.
And I just said anxiety, depression. I was talking about having trouble sleeping. But if you break that down, that's just the top layer. So I think it's related to what you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the top layer. Where is the actual anxiety coming from? That's what I learned through meditation, learn about my mind. That's just the feeling, right? But that anxiety is coming from many specific moments from my entire life that I never addressed and let go of. That they call it the subconscious. If you break down that word, it's below your conscious level, right? Subconscious.
Sure, yeah.
So we're not even aware. I wasn't aware of what I was holding from birth up until now. If you you said you do therapy, usually they really ask you about like your birth to 12.
Yeah.
Most of our thoughts are coming from our birth to 12 when you study it. So I could start to see specifically the snapshots from my life that were causing that anxiety.
Wow, really?
First times I was scared, this, that, and things. You have to really do it with an open mind, because also we have a block too of like, oh, I don't care about that. It was a long time ago. Or like there's such a block. Or like you feel bad like, well, I don't want to blame my parents. Blah, blah. It's not about blaming. It's just about being real and honest about how you felt. You don't even realize, getting to know yourself. And when you start to be able to see those things one by one and address them and release them one by one, not just while you're doing that, but in your real life, you feel lighter, you feel freer. And then you can talk about things, you can think about things from the past. And there were some things in my life I couldn't talk about or think about.
Really?
Right? Yeah. I would start to get shaky. I would start, like that. When you're not healed from something, you can't even talk about those things. Yeah, but I went through all kinds of abuse, right? But I think everybody does. Everybody goes through something.
Than you think, yeah.
That's why I don't specifically, sometimes I will specifically talk about the incidents, but like it really, and working with people, whether it's physical abuse, sexual abuse, all kinds of abuse that people go through. But I don't share a lot of the personal ones. Sometimes I will, because like my abuse that I went through, let's say one person went through physical abuse. Another person's dad just screamed at them or something like that. Their reaction inside their body can be the same as the physical abuse.
Wow.
So that's why I don't.
That's a good point.
So sometimes I don't share about some personal things. Because he went through that. No wonder why he was depressed and and stressed.
Yeah.
But also, it's when you meditate and you can see it in a different angle, and you can see, you went through that and let go of that. And it's also a balance of like, it's not about it's the opposite of having a victim's mentality also, because it's just the past and you don't have it anymore, but it's being real with let it go. And then it's really not bothering you and you're here. And then you start to see like, wow, my life actually, just to be a human's amazing. And then the perspective, wow, my life's amazing. I was born in America, born in Philadelphia, grew up in Holland. Like, wow, this is awesome. So
that's amazing, man. Yeah. I mean, I've been very public about it too. Like when I was 6 weeks old, I was adopted. So did you know that?
I know.
Yeah, you knew that. I mean, our families go way back.
They got lucky that you were that athletic, man. Right?
I'm like the ultimate nature versus nurture case, because I don't necessarily consider myself, or never did, like an athletic.
You were very athletic though.
I was raised by a coach and like two very athletic people, but dude, in my heart, I mean, I'm a creative weirdo. Like, that's why, to your point, playing the trumpet and being a musician, that's like in my soul. That's what I love creating, So playing sports was almost like a performance for me. Like I don't see a lot of differences between getting on stage and getting onto a field, It's so I don't know whether, it was nature, nurture, whatever, but
that's cool to think about.
There's a lot of similarities, But the biggest thing that I struggle with still is fear of abandonment for me, because I was 6 years old and abandoned by my birth parents, So there's still, to this day, I didn't realize for a long time, like how much of that I was carrying with me, and it would influence decisions or, you know, lashing out, having a short fuse, like why I acted certain ways in certain situations. And, you know, over time, I finally like started to understand it more. And to your point, I started to shed some of that weight and then just feel grateful. Like, I feel like I hit the lottery, man. You know, my life was a coin flip that I was even going to be here, you know, and could have been an abortion or an adoption. I turned out to be, you know, given the chance of having a life. So when I start my day with that, I'm fucking unstoppable. And it doesn't matter, you know, it's how can I like serve others, help other people with the gifts that I was given at that point? And that's when everything starts coming to you, when you're in that frame of mind, you know?
That's so beautiful, man. Yeah, I didn't know you were sick, so then you could really, really remember that. Because some people,
I was only 6 weeks.
Oh, 6 weeks.
Yeah,
I thought you said
like,
6.
No. Very, very young. So I don't remember the obvious.
But still, you have that. And you probably remember when you were told or things like that. Like,
yeah, you know, parts of, I don't ever remember a moment where I like wasn't aware of it. So I was probably, 5 or 6 years old, you know, but there were always moments that I questioned. Like, I had a breakthrough moment maybe 4 or 5 years ago in a therapy session where I was questioning, like, is it really in me to be a musician or not? Like, imposter syndrome, self-doubt, you know, the fear of like stepping on a stage, knowing like, you know, what the hell are you doing here, man? You're in Nashville playing on Broadway. You're a kid from Philly that like, you know, what business do you have in this town? And I would have some of these thoughts like running through my head. And then it was an amazing session. You know, our therapist, my wife and I were at, she just kind of asked me like, what the hell does it matter? Like if your birth parents or adopted parents were musicians or not, like you are. And I was like, whoa, you're right. Like, why am I putting so much stock in like, is it in my DNA or not versus what I've proven that I can do, you know? And at that point I was like, wow, I just was baptized as a, you know, a man.
She sounds like a pure godsend, man.
She was amazing. Shout out to Jen. You know, but yeah, so over the years, it was a lot of those questions for me were just answered in a way that I never framed my mindset the right way. And that sounds like a lot of like what you are trying to help people do because you've gone through it too.
For sure. That's life. That's beautiful what you just said. That's life. Playing the hand that we're dealt and seeing it in a positive light. And there's so much more than what meets our eyes going on here.
Yeah.
And when you start to get into healing, you start to realize that also. Wow, the mind is just so powerful.
Really
I mean, you see some people, there's the one public speaker who has no arms, no legs, and he's like an entrepreneur, Nick Vucevic. You see many people like that.
So do you know Matt Granados? You know, remember Tony and Matt Granados?
Yeah, I do remember
so
that.
Matt is an amazing business coach. And
I didn't know that.
Nick, that guy is one of the keynote speakers at Matt's event.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I think it's in St. Louis in January, but
it's amazing.
Yeah.
So you see someone like that, and there's many different cases like that, or you see someone who had harder circumstance than you and then be positive and make it. And then it just makes you like, oh, like, okay, I can too. Like play the hand, own the hand I was dealt.
I like that. Yeah.
My grandma used to always say, if everybody wrote down all their problems and put it in a bottle and threw it in the Delaware River, everybody would take their own back.
I'm sure a lot of people's problems are buried in the Delaware River somewhere, but so that might be advice that she had done herself. No, that's actually,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it's hard, man, because, you know, to your point, you never know. And people on the surface that seem really happy, you know, have a great job, good income, stable family, happy on social media, only post the highlight reel. Everyone's going through shit. Everybody. Doesn't matter. You know, you and I both sitting here on a podcast, having a good time. But like my grandfather just passed, you know, 6 days ago. We have his services this weekend. And, you know, so everyone's going through something at every point of every day.
100%. I think that's a good point too, is when people expect, sometimes when people seek out meditation or seek out the things that I help them with, they have this expectation that when they meditate, everything in their life will go perfect. Or maybe there's some people who talk about those things like you manifest the perfect life. Like, yes, you can manifest things, but you can't escape a family member passing away.
Right.
You can't escape things that go on in politics or wars or the world or the weather or whatever. Things are going to happen. We're not here alone. I think it's all about how you handle what you go through. And also, it's not about unrealistically being happy when someone you care about passes away. It's about really being in touch with your emotions and allowing yourself to fully feel how you feel. Like it's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad about that. And then when you do that, it's shorter period actually, right?
Yeah.
You can get to acceptance quicker and start to think about, oh, so thankful that I knew my grandfather, and naturally that will happen, not forcing yourself to like
Correct.
stuff down your feelings and because you got to be a tough guy or whatever. So yeah, it's about when you're happy, happy, when you're sad, that's okay.
How do you explain that to someone who might be at the very beginning of the journey, especially a man, you know, someone in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and we were raised to be, you know, tough dudes, to push down our emotions, not necessarily be in touch with it. I know that recently it's, you know, been more in vogue and less taboo to like go through an emotional intelligence or like a healing process. But what would your advice be to someone very early in the journey, or just kind of like curious about their own healing process?
Sure. I think anybody who wants to do healing, they have to be a little bit open to that in the first place, because you'll realize on your own, that's actually the strongest people actually are that. It's not the ones who pretend that they're tough, right? I already lived that life also. You know, you say you know me from like 12 to 18. I mean, I never.
We all did. I mean, let's be honest. You know?
We all. Yeah, of course. We try. You know, don't smile. Don't, you know, act tough. You know, have your guard up and all those things. But you realize, yeah, you walk around with imposter syndrome, like you said, or with insecurity because you know inside you're lying to yourself. Actually, like you're scared, and so I think people want to change. They're looking for another way, and it's great that that's changing, right? And it's not about, we still have to be men. We still have to be masculine men, but I believe that masculine men, it's okay to cry. If for me, I'm into spirituality. If you read any of the spiritual books, it doesn't say not to cry. Like all of the spiritual leaders cried. You know? It'll say Jesus wept. You know, so it's like, if he's not the picture of masculinity or anybody, there's many stories in the Bible. If you're not Christian, you know, Old Testament, or if you're Buddhist or whatever, it is manly to feel how you feel, to be real, right? Yeah, but it's one thing to get ruled by your emotions, but lying to yourself is the problem. So I think that I'll motivate them to know that when you're true and authentic with yourself, then you'll be in peace, and whatever it is that they want is on the other side of being real with themselves.
So what does that process look like? Finally getting real with yourself, you know, like if you're doing a corporate event or you're helping just a one-on-one individual, I'm sure everyone's at like a different, you know, part of that journey, but someone who you're just meeting for the first time, what's the first step to kind of like let your guard down, go inward, and start that journey?
For sure. First, I would see what it is that they really want to work on. Usually there's one main thing that they'd like to work on, and then give me an example of something someone would want to work on.
Oh, I was just going to ask you that. I don't know. It could be losing weight, you know, more on the external, you know, being more present when I'm with my kids, you know, like shutting my work brain off and just focusing on my kids when I'm in the moment with them.
What kind of thoughts come up when you're with the kids?
I get anxious sometimes that I'm missing emails, and the people that I'm relied on to serve through the business are not able to get a hold of me, and I can't respond and help them in a moment that it might be of need to them.
For sure. I think that's very normal. That's something that will take time with the practice. But I think that something very simple for that, and then I'll get back to the one-to-one, but something very simple with that is being intentional. Just being intentional is a very easy, fast, quick change, which means before you go home, literally for 1 or 2 minutes, how do I want to be? How do I want to show up? How do I want my energy to be? How do I want my wife to feel? Like, how do I want to treat my wife? How do I want to feel? And what do I want to give? How do I want to feel to my daughters? How do I want to be when I'm playing with them? Right? And I think having just a clear line, and then knowing you'll get better and better at too when those come up, letting it go. And when I'm with the kids, I'm with the kids. But I think when you have a clear line with yourself of when I work, and when I'm with the kids, I'm with the kids. But if you know, don't be too hard on yourself too. If you know that there's a deal coming in, or you know that there's something that you have to have the phone on for, then have it on. And if it beeps and it's not them, just put it to the side.
Yeah.
But you'll get better and better at that. But when I work with someone one-to-one, it's really coming from the whole life. So that's usually what we work on. Like, let's say whatever they're going through at this time, whether it's related to being present or losing weight or whatever the things that you mentioned, there will be the specific snapshots from their entire life that are like that. So whatever feeling they had today that they're trying to get away from, say it's fear, say it's insecurity. I feel like I'm not enough because I'm not confident in how I look, and I have to wear bigger clothes because whatever, or whatever kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then I feel insecure. I'm comparing to others. I see other people on social media that look better than me, and I feel bad about myself or whatever. That's not the first time in their life they felt that way. Insecure, not enough, not lovable, those kind of things.
Okay.
So getting to the root of that, and as an observer, finding those and releasing those. Finding those and releasing those. Yeah.
How is that for you? Because that's the second time you've used that reference, and I really like it because what you just said is important. Like, just how someone's showing up in a problem they're trying to solve now is probably representative of something they felt for a really long time.
Yes.
So for you, when you were going through like that early phase of your journey, finally able to go inward and like almost objectify the pain or the moment of the trauma and like bring it present, face it, own it, recognize it, but then swipe it. What is that? How do you do that?
Sure.
How did you do that?
So here's a very simple example, but through meditation and being open, and ultimately, even if you're atheist, that's okay, but it's really any meditation you do there, it's about finding connection to a higher power, whether that's God, universe, truth, whichever words you use. For my beliefs, it's all the same, but it's really a mechanism of taking the burden off yourself and letting it go. So we use visualization to help us do that because we're very visual beings and we believe it's gone if we do it in that way better.
Yeah.
So you could do what you said with swiping, but just to give you an example, let's imagine there's a fire in that bowl. Can you imagine that? Just like visualization, you're very creative, so you can do it right away. And it's contained, right? It's just safe. And then you have a piece of paper, like a paper ball, and you threw that into the fire. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You threw it in there, and then it just burned away and disappeared. It's okay?
Wow.
The paper ball disappear?
Yeah.
I want you to think, let's do now, I want you to think about, we're not going to go for childhood stuff, but I want you to think about like today, yesterday, just a recent snapshot. You don't have to tell me what it is. Just a recent snapshot where you were overthinking, worried, stressed, something like that.
Yeah.
And let me know when it pops up for you.
All right. It's right there.
You got one? Okay.
Yeah.
So I want you to be an observer of that and realize it's the same as the paper ball. It's not actually here anymore. That's not actually you. That's not the place. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Yep.
Like it's just a copy of the past. Like we're here right now. If we come to the present, that's not here anymore. But there's some feeling that's still locked inside there. So what is if you were to label the feeling that's in there, like anger, frustration, what would you say it is?
Stuck in confusion.
Stuck in confusion.
Yeah.
And then I want you to get into, where do you feel that the most in your body? You can take a second, but you can ask yourself, where do I feel that?
Like right
Perfect.
here in my chest.
Yes.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense. Do you think it serves you to hold that today, tomorrow, next day?
Never.
You want to bring that home to your kids?
Nope.
You can make a decision. This is the thing. We have the power to let go of anything we don't want to hold. So just like you'll be good at this because you know the gym and you know reps. So I want you to really believe you can take it out. And I want you to actually, with your hands, actually take it out and put it to the fire. I want you to do that 5 times. Ready, go. Right. And actually believe, actually make a decision. You don't need that anymore. Actually make a decision to release whatever's in there. You got 3. Make a decision and actually do it. 4. The fire is very hot. It's taking it. Okay. It went in and disappeared. You don't have to check it now. It's not instant. It's not like, you actually do look a little clearer, but it's not like when you lift, yeah, you might get a pump, but your body's not fully changing in one time. But just like that, just to give you a visual, but with your eyes closed, you wouldn't have to be going like this and doing that. But you can learn how to reflect on yourself and learn how to release anything that you don't want to hold.
That's amazing, man. Well, so just to like put it all out there, the thing I was feeling stuck and confused about, which I definitely feel lighter already, and I'm not, no bullshit. Like we have an event tonight that the video team's going down to in South Philly at this really cool place for a client of ours.
Wow.
And my grandfather's funeral services are tomorrow. So I was trying to like in my mind figure out how can I be basically in 2 places at once, and what do I need to serve that's more important? A really close friend who's a client of ours or my family that we have to get in the car, packed, and go to the services tonight to be with family. Like, you know, probably a simple routine type of decision I have to make on a lot of
Not
days.
really. It's a tough decision.
You know, with the heavier weight of, you know, my grandfather's services, trying to figure out how to coordinate all those things is where I was stuck and confused.
That's deep that you could let go of that. Like, you're amazing, man. You're very mentally tough. That's actually, you went for a pretty deep one, actually.
It's, I sort of knew where I was going to lean, but now like grounding myself, having the moment and throwing it away makes the decision kind of a lot easier. So
that's what happens. Yeah. We have so much inner wisdom. We really have the answers we're looking for within ourselves. We really do. But it takes that time to let go. And then you can see from a bigger perspective, right? And you can get a lot of wisdom of like, you start to, like things will pop up like, in 3 years, what would have been the best decision? You know what I mean? like stuff like that.
That's a good way to look at it.
Just think naturally, things like that will pop up. And also I'm someone who was like brutally hard on myself, and I didn't even know that until I started to meditate. So you start to also take that weight off too.
Yeah, like that was the first thing I just thought of afterwards. It's like, why was I even putting so much mental weight on that decision? Like, it should be pretty obvious to you. I'm sure it was, you know, but to me, I take our work really seriously. I'm certain that once I text the person at the event and say like, hey, have to go to my grandfather's funeral, 100 people out of 100 are going to say, of course, like I do the same thing. So I don't know why that weighs on me, or if the other people would feel the same way, but
of course,
why are we so hard on ourselves?
It goes like, and it's being authentic to yourself. And it's okay if that person is upset because you went to your grandfather's service. I mean, that's on them, right?
Yeah,
when you're coming from the right place, you're not maliciously trying to screw them over. You're not going to, you know, drink at the bar instead of going to the event. Like you're going to your grandfather's service.
Right,
you can't control that, right?
Yeah.
And also, if you made the other decision too, your family would understand also that you have a lot of pressure on you, and you want to make sure that you provide for your family or whatever it is. You know, I'm not here to tell you what decision to make,
right?
You know, but you can make that on your own.
Help me be okay with the decision that I'm going to make and that I already did. You know,
that's amazing. That's a really hard one. What you worked on, because usually like the specific snapshot is the one to let go of. So like, but that kind of scenario still you can let go of it. But a lot of people are scared to let go of stuff like that because they think that they're gonna like not have control and become like, oh, or like something like that. So that's really amazing. And you just proved that when you let go, you just get clarity.
Yeah, I'm not even at this point in this moment, I'm not second guessing it. I think the challenge for me is 2 hours from now, being wrapped up in the, you know, the minutia of like the communication of who I have to talk to finalize that decision. If I'm okay with it then, as I am now, then that'll be a big step that everything you just told me is working.
Set your intention for how you want it to go and how you want your energy to be, and be okay. Be okay with how they respond too.
That's great,
okay,
man.
Yeah.
How do you, when you're working with someone in like a corporate environment, I'm sure the transformations you've seen are probably pretty amazing, but like, how do you, I don't want to use work-life balance as kind of a thing, but it's something I definitely struggle with, is that I take work home with me a lot, you know, and if the laptop's there, if my phone's in my lap, I'm checking emails, I'm doing projects for clients, like I am always on. And I know that that's not the way that I should be, because I feel like there are times when I'm showing up 75, 80% in the home, and I know I need to be more than 100 to be a good dad, a good father, you know? So like you just gave me a good bit of advice on setting the intention, but anything else words of wisdom for that?
The intention, the boundaries, and also scheduling. I think that you probably do that, but you also have to schedule the family time. You also have to schedule the date night with your wife. And this is advice you probably heard.
Yeah.
And you have to actually think like that's the same as a client meeting, you know?
That's a really good way to look at it.
And then if someone has, someone's, hey, can you meet at this time? And you got the thing on the schedule for, you know, time with your daughters and wife.
No.
Oh, no, I have another meeting at the time. And that's okay. That's okay. Because at the end of the day, you're going to realize that's more important. And it's really getting in tune with your values and principles. And you have to get in tune with your values and principles. And when you live on your values and principles, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And then making a clear line of like how much family time, and it's all, and not comparing to other parents, and not comparing, you know, it's okay to work too. Like I think there's a lot of that nowadays too. Like, it's really wild. I'm not a parent, I could be a parent one day, but I think these days what I see is the helicopter parent thing. I mean, it's really extreme. It's like,
oh my gosh,
like, if you parent how everybody parents, man, it's a problem.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a good thing. Yeah, I think the one thing that I try to at least instill in my girls, and I'm very blessed to have the music journey and be an entrepreneur. My girls see that, and while I do take it home, I'm not saying when I go home, like, I'm literally in front of a laptop all night. Like, I'm incredibly engaged. Like, we do a ton with our kids and we have a great, home dynamic. But the one thing that I love that they see is what it takes to build something, and especially with music. Like, I'll bring my girls to as many shows as possible. Like, bring them backstage,
awesome.
Get them the vision and the perspective from being on stage, looking out, So what I do want to leave to them is how incredibly passionate you have to be with something, whatever it is, and how you have to take care of it to not only birth it, but then raise it and grow it to turn into something. And it's the same goes with them, but it could be anything. Like, there aren't limitations on you. It's the limitations you put on yourself and how you speak to yourself about what you're able to achieve, that'll suppress whatever the outcome is going to be.
I love that.
But I don't say it to them in that way because they're 9, 7, and 3.
But they're seeing it. Children learn the most through what they see. And they feel it, man. Even the way you talk about them, they feel your love. That's the most important thing. Yeah. And that your heart is actually trying. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not always, I'm not perfect. Nobody is. But
of course.
Yeah, I think it's important to, the authenticity thing to me is really big. And it could go for any relationship, friends, colleagues, in work, home, whatever. And the one thing that I see a lot in business owners that we work with, they've gone through a transformation in themselves to launch the business that they want to, shed the relationships that they've needed to. And like, your journey as an entrepreneur and as a healer kind of intersect and integrate. But it seems like you had to become the person you are today to lead the life and have the business that you have today. And all the healing and that transformation in you came first before the business showed up, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And even, you have to become that person. I mean, if I don't meditate every day, if I don't develop myself every single day and I don't stand behind the words that I speak, there's no point. And also that can be felt. That can be felt too. Yeah. And how can I help anyone or come from a place to help anyone? And also, even as to date, all of what I do is nonprofit work also.
Is it really?
It's set up as nonprofit. Of course, I have salary and things like this, but I run it through nonprofit, and I would love, my goal, and I know that I can make that happen. I would like to I know in my life I'll be able to make a lot of income based off what I do and the value I can provide, but I'd like to use that to keep helping this war on mental health, or keep helping this consciousness shift that's going on, help this world to become a better place. I'd like to make it possible that my income even comes from something else, Anyway, I just put that out there, and that I love volunteering, actually. Like, I'd still do a lot of volunteer work. I still do a lot of free one-to-ones with people who I know cannot afford it. Of course, like, there's so many, on Instagram, the messages I get because I put myself out there from young 20, someone who's 19 and has no money and is in their mom's basement and is suicidal or whatever. Like, I'm not ignoring those messages. There will come a point where there's not enough time to reach out, but I answer every single DM that I get. And of course, sometimes I give one-to-ones. I do one free session a month too, online. But I have to. I feel great doing that, actually, though.
Do you feel like this is what you were called to do?
100%. Yeah. I couldn't do it if it was not. I mean, you know me before too. This found me. So crazy. This found me.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the first things you said is like, this life just kind of chose me. But that's what's so fascinating about you, is because I've known you well before any of this happened, and to see the man you've become and like how confident you are now in everything you're doing and how you're showing up, and it's so authentic and real. I was like, we gotta sit down and just have this conversation, man.
I appreciate you.
Because it's remarkable.
I felt the same way. I was really motivated by you when I see you putting yourself out there, and that's not easy to go from, I don't know what you were doing before, but I think you were working in corporate, to go and then to be a country music star. I mean, that is amazing.
Star's a big word, but we're trying, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you've done big things. I've seen it.
It's been fun, man. But yeah, it started.
And then what you're doing now?
Well, this is like this fuels me in a whole different way, because I feel like just with the things we've built with music and the relationships and connections we've had to other people, we have a bit of a platform to just have people like you tell your story. That's all this is, man. I want to give people the arena the same way that we have it with music, to just tell the truth and just, you know, be authentic and show up and tell your story, man. Because a lot of times people don't have that platform. You do, because of what you've built with content and what you're building. But a lot of times, you know, people just don't take the time to sit back, recognize what they've built, get a pat on the ass from me or, you know, a bunch of strangers on the internet, and just have their story told, you know?
100%.
So,
and it's important, and it's helping people. And it's even, you're a genius too. I saw the idea of training the people who work on the construction sites.
Yeah.
I was like, that is genius, man.
I saw your DM about that. Yeah. We, so as part of what Rhythm does with content, we train a lot of, you know, home service, like technicians and operators, the guys actually on the job site doing the stuff. And it's a little controversial, because we get a lot of home service business owners that reach out and say, like, there's no way I'd ever want my construction guys and my technicians shooting content.
Really?
But yeah, but there's some that will reach out and be like, you know, we have our technicians shoot a status photo every 10 minutes of like, how's the job going? So that corporate sees basically the whole job. And I'm like, well, if they're doing this with their phone every 10 minutes, I could teach them how to do this with their phone.
Yeah.
You know, and how to shoot a small video. And yeah, so it's turned into like a crazy business for us, like training home service businesses.
So smart.
So,
because either way,
fun.
you have to you have to film it. I mean, that's just the world we live in, right? I mean, I was actually against social media completely. I deleted all my stuff. Like when I was going through that,
Yeah.
When I was 21, I mean, it wasn't like how it is now. It was just Facebook, but I realized even at that time, I was like, whatever, man. Like, I don't know. I really was like not into it. And then running the 2 centers in New Jersey, and I came across Gary V. You know Gary V?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I came across him early, and then it just made. I was like, look, you have to do what you have to do to get your message out. And then I didn't even have a personal page until 2020. Then in 2020, that's when I started making content like with a personal page. I recreated a Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. But yeah, even with that, I think people who are hesitant to making content, like it's just about, that's the world we live in now. So you have to adapt, right? There's no fighting technology. Like I like in-person things better. You know, I do a lot on Zoom, but I like in-person better. I like in-person connection like this. I did a Zoom podcast yesterday. This is better for sure. But there's no fighting technology. You have to go with the flow.
You have to adapt.
You have to adapt.
Well, the amazing thing about technology is the moments like you just described that you have, where you have basically a mirror image of yourself, 19 years old, in the basement, suicidal, struggling. But just from the message and the content you put out, that person not only found you, but felt compelled enough to reach out to you for help. You know, like what is that interaction like for you? It has to be surreal when someone shows up randomly in your DMs like that.
For sure. I mean, you're most fit to serve the person you once were. So I think that's always.
Where'd you hear that?
It's definitely not my quote. I definitely heard it and
wow.
have been using it, but it's just true, because you know the ins and outs of that, and you know that there is another side. So I try to always on social too give hope. Even whatever anybody's going through, you can get to the other side of that, because I know when you're in that depression, you're in that tough time, it really feels like you're going to feel like that forever.
Yeah.
Right. But that's those moments is when you grow too, when you go the right way. Like you have a choice, right? To go down or to go up. Like I had a choice, keep going towards suicidal, you know, keep doing things to numb the pain, or try to change. And that's what led me on the path that I'm on right now. I didn't know that it was going to be on that path. I could have said, oh, meditation, that's corny, or this or that, or I'll just go do this. But yeah, luckily I was I had fear of the harder drugs too, and I had a lot of fear of jail. You know, that some people in my family didn't have that fear, but I luckily I did.
That's good.
But still, I always think about that too. This is like a side note, but something I've been thinking about lately. Meditation also helped me become more humble. Meaning, like, I would think about, like, I used to drink and drive a lot at the time.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, what, someone couldn't walk out and I hit them and first off kill somebody, and then next off I would go to jail for 30 years. So then, like, the luck that didn't happen, like, what do I have to complain about anything?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I can just be humble before the universe and just like,
wow.
Like, I'm walking on free. I think we're all walking on, like, it's a blessing to even just be here in the first place. Borrowed time, exactly. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. So even with that, like, I could be in jail or this or that could be worse or this. But when you obsess about what's not going right in your life, when you obsess about what's going wrong, we all have problems. We all have issues. We all have challenges that we're going through. But yeah, it's about the perspective that we're going through.
Man, I love that line. I'm totally stealing that from you.
The purpose one.
Was there a moment, you know, because for you, it like keeps coming back to almost this fork in the road where, you know, going down a dark path, and I've been there, trust me, myself, and I'm sure a lot of people have. Was there one final breaking point for you where you're like, enough's enough, I'm going to start or just try this other thing and try something positive versus taking the easy way out?
Not exactly. For me, it wasn't like that. I know for a lot of people, they have like that one breaking point.
Yeah.
But my story was that I was really close to suicide, but how I was going to do it, like driving and make it look like an accident.
Oh, so you had actually thought about this?
Yeah, I would go out, you know, drunk and really think about doing it, and then just come back and act like nothing happened. You know, go to the club and get more drunk or whatever, or go to a house party or do whatever. But and then on Tuesday morning, act like, you know, nothing ever happened.
Nothing
you know
happened.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go to the family party, act like everything's all good. But that's where I was at. And so I was just sick of that. And so I think it was multiple times. And then, yeah, my mind would just get crazy too. Like really, really, well, I'd be like, man, like I'm really, like I had so much pride where if someone betrayed me, it was like so crazy that, like, you know, like,
really?
Yeah, like we don't have to go. Like,
no, we can pause right there.
Like, no. Like
kidding.
We can't, because that's real, right? Like you see things happen, and it's like I know, but I also would be conflicted because I would know, like, that's not who I am, right? That's not who I am. Like someone who wants to kill someone, or you know what I'm saying? But like, so then there's those conflicting feelings, right? But like, just like at war with myself, of like not in alignment with who I am, and then I just remember. Just one moment's coming to me now where I had someone who was like an enemy, like someone was trying to talk to my girlfriend at the time, like something stupid, right? And then I was like, yo, I'm going to kill this dude, you know, like, or like hurt him badly, like with a bat or something, you know what I mean? Like, but like that kind of stuff. And how can I do it and not get caught? And I was like up all night and thinking about it. And how could he do this? Like someone I knew, like how could he text, like whatever. And, I remember I actually went with my mom to, this is something I haven't thought about in a long time, to like a yoga studio at that time. And I was just looking for like something. And I was always very spiritual, but I kind of pushed it down. Like I was always really curious about like, what the hell is this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's interesting too. I know you had people pass away too, but we had like, where I'm at in Jersey is even like more like, and I guess our school had a lot of people, but like, people passed away actually that I knew personally, you know, through suicide or through car accidents or through drug overdoses, that it's like, I was just always shocked of like, wow, they were here yesterday. Now they're not here.
No, it's bizarre to think about.
And it would just like, get me like that. When I was in second grade, a kid who I was friends with choked and died.
Who's that?
His name was Levin, Justin Levin.
Oh my gosh. I remember
you
that.
Remember about that?
Yeah.
So I just remember being like, where did he go? You know, and realizing like nobody knows too. Like my parents, like I had a really good like read of like, they say he went to a good place, but it doesn't like look like they're like 100% confident about that. Anyways, I know I'm going deep with you right now.
No, that's fine, man.
But I was very spiritual. I couldn't stop it. Or like when my mom was pregnant with my younger brother, I was just like mind blown. Like, wait, like there's like a human inside? Like it just didn't.
And then Hunter pops
this
out.
is like magical.
Hunter. How's he doing?
He's great. He's
Awesome,
great.
man. Good.
But yeah, so I was always looking for answers too of like, what is this? Why am I here? What's the point of my life? How can I live happily? How can I live good? Because it doesn't seem like go to school, get a job, make money. It's not satisfying
Right.
me, or it's not going to satisfy me. So what is there? So I was just kind of yearning for something higher, something greater. And actually, I could have had a minor in religion that in college, I was just interested in. So I got to read Bible, Buddha Sutras, Quran, and
so you got the full spectrum of everything.
What they think. And
wow, that's cool.
For me, it was like universal truth. Anyway, that's what I believe is like, I see it as they all have universal truths. They all say God's within us, and they all say so many similar principles that we have to find God within us. And
wow. And that's across all religion?
That's across all religion. They call it different names. Like in the Quran, it'll say Allah's within you. In the Bible, it'll say God's within you. In Buddhism, it'll say the land of bliss is within you, Buddha's land. Hinduism will say universe is within you. But it's quite interesting, right? It's not like Jesus was talking to Buddha, like, hey, make sure you say. So for me, it's universal truth. Yeah.
That's hilarious, man. Just think about like the South Park episode where all of them are just talking to each other. It's hilarious. No, for me, I was very, I was raised, Catholic Christian, but over the years, definitely Christian, like lean more into that. But I had a big gap in my life too, where I had spirituality for me as an edge as an athlete growing up. I was always the guy. I'd spend a little extra time. I remember vividly, like before football games, I'd be in the shower stall by myself. Wow. 20 minutes before a game, no one else in there, like dead silent.
Wow.
And, I used that as an edge. Like I was clear, I was focused, and I knew at that point when you're 17, 18, you don't realize now as an adult, there are different relationships with God or religion. But I used that as a huge edge, because I felt like I was untouchable on the field.
I love that.
There was just something in it that for me worked.
Well, that's what it's. To me, that's where it's like beyond religion. To me, it's beyond religion. I think that we made religion, but that could be a different, meaning I'm not against religion whatsoever. I think it's a beautiful thing. Like what I teach makes you better at whatever religion you are. But it's about back to authenticity, for that really trying to connect to something higher, something greater, not through a lens or through a frame or through rules or anything like that. But like you said, the quiet in the shower, like whatever prayers you were saying at that time that were actually coming from your heart. So then they were felt. And I think the best athletes are very spiritual. I know the best fighters are, for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. It's I probably didn't realize it then, but it was my form of meditation at that point in my life before I ever knew what that even was. I just knew that before every game I had to spend X amount of time. I had sort of a pre-canned set of prayers, for family, for the team, for the game, for myself, for health and all this stuff.
I love that.
But it was like my mental edge that I would get before I go out on the game. But then 20s and like early 30s, I didn't feel like I needed it for anything, which is probably the furthest thing from the truth, And then over the past like 5-6 years, I like found myself during COVID just in bad shape. I was just telling you, like drinking too much, eating terribly before music career started. And at that point, on my knees, just like asking for help. And at that point, I started to work my relationship with God back in. And just for the focus and the clarity and like the peace, it just makes me feel 30 pounds lighter when I feel like I'm in that good pocket,
It's everything. It's everything.
Yeah. So not to push that on anybody, but that's my personal experience with it.
For me, it's all about your relationship with the Creator. I think if you don't have a relationship with the Creator, it's really tough to be happy. I don't know how any atheist can be happy. I really don't know. But for me, it's not. And for anybody who really studied, I'm sure not for you too. I say to atheists, like the same God. I say to atheists that the same God that you don't believe in, I don't believe in either. Because they got sold that God is this guy in the sky with the beard. This guy in the sky with the beard. But if you really study it, God is the true soul and spirit that existed always before, is here now, will always be here. That everything came from and everything goes back to one day.
And that's in you, that lives across all religion with no boundaries. That
exactly,
as someone who's studied it,
exactly, and that's what you're Christian. That's what Jesus was teaching, actually, right? Jesus was Jewish, and he was teaching to the Jewish people, and he was saying, "This isn't only for us. We need to take this, to the world, this knowledge." And anyhow, that God is within you, and love your neighbor as you love yourself, and love God over all things. Not love a guy in the sky with a beard, but love the light. Yeah.
No, it's cool, man. I think there's, in any transformation, for you, and you get a front row seat to a lot of people's transformation, because you probably find them, or they find you, and they're in a really dark place and kind of come out the other side of it. I think there has to be a version of spirituality to it, and leave religion aside, like that's a personal choice, but there has to be something that you believe in, that you can relinquish a little bit of control to, if not all, to help the shedding and the healing process happen. At least for me, again, that's what I found, because I found like I'm not strong enough to carry all the weight and the burden of everything all the time. Like I need a toolkit, I need help, I need a mechanism or someone else I can get all that and air it out to, so that I can focus and be present in my own life.
Exactly. Exactly.
So is that what you find, like when you're helping people? Like is that the transformation, or is it something different? Or
yes, like I said, all the religions. So Jesus said, "God's within you, and heaven is within your mind." So you're Christian, so I'm giving that example, but it's across all religion. So that is within us, but it's just covered by all the things that we're carrying from our entire life, and then it's also covered by things that we even inherited too. They would call that original sin or inherited karma. Or if you go to the doctor, they even ask you if you have a family history of depression or these kind of things. But it's not even about that. You inherited things in your DNA, and then you took in all the things in your life, right? You can call that sin, you can call that karma, or you can just call that your life lived, or baggage, whatever you want to call it, is covering your true authentic self, yourself that's unified with that higher power like you just talked about. So the real work of any religion, spirituality, healing, meditation is getting present. It's just about tapping into this, right? Which is behind there. So as much as we cleanse and let go of, this is getting revealed. And that brings us to, you could say, the present moment too, right? If to be one with God, the creator, the universe, is to be in the present moment. It's the same words. But a lot of times people, they like yanked out the spirituality too. I love that we went this direction with this podcast, because you never know. When I go to corporations, actually, they a lot of times they tell me I can't say anything spiritual or stuff like that.
I bet they do.
But and there's so many avenues that I can help people in. I help athletes sometimes. I help people trying to get mental performance too. But this is the stuff that I'm most passionate about. So I'm really, really happy that we went here with it. But yeah, to become unified with the creators, to get to the present moment, that's the same thing, right? There's nothing to be, and that's the most comforting, most amazing thing, because at the end of the day, we talked about death a little bit, like to have no fear. That's the ultimate thing. And the only way to have no fear is to really know everything's going to be okay no matter what. Yeah. Even if I die today, I'm okay. Even if I lose all my money today, I'm okay. Even if this happened, I'm not saying I don't want any of those things to happen, right? Yeah. But if there's some fear out of things that I'm out of control of the bigger picture, then I'm always not going to have peace. And we just live from this place of control and comfort. And that's why I had so much pain, because my whole life I was brainwashed to live. How can I just be the most comfortable I can possibly be and escape and avoid the most pain that I can possibly escape? That's not life. We brainwash ourselves. We're at a point in society where it's beyond what our ancestors could ever even imagine. Like these cameras, like the electricity, the water like this, like what? Like the way we live like kings, man. Even someone who doesn't even have to work that hard can order a cheeseburger to come here right now. It's like you had to go or hunt or grow or farm or whatever. You get what I'm saying? We're living like a king of kings, but at the same time, we're at that level of materialism, but we're at that level of addiction and that level of depression and anxiety and, oh, my light in my car went on and this happened and the person canceled the appointment. I'm having such a bad day. It's like, and I get it too. I have empathy also, but it's like, we have to get real, man. It's not about escaping comfort. So I always say, I really feel, you probably feel too, you seem very spiritually in tune as we're talking. People are waking up to realize that. And I think we're going to go back to that. And as much as technology goes this way, I think we're going to get more human too, as weird as that might sound. I really think that is. Even with what you do with social media, you were just talking about, as much as you're authentic, like technology is fake in a way, but as much as you're authentic on the technology,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think it's a balancing act to a degree. When you use it for good, like you do, and hopefully like we do. I just we play music. It's not as much of a message as what
That's
you have.
good, man. Music is spiritual in itself too.
It is for me,
and healing,
it's my
and gives
release
people joy.
yeah, exactly. It's just two different vehicles, but I think that as much as you can use social media and content just as a medium for what it is, and just if your message or your craft or your art or whatever can help somebody else heal, get through something, and find commonality with people. I always say to people, connection to me is currency as much as money is, and as much as relationships are, and it could be a part of, my fear of abandonment, where I seek connection and obsess over it. And it shows up for me on stage. It showed up for me playing sports. I worked my ass off in those moments to try to be the guy in the big moment that everyone could rely on, because that's how I felt love. And that's how I validated, the work and my time and what my purpose is here. I kind of feel the same way to a degree as an entrepreneur and as a musician. All I'm just trying to seek is connection. And if we're playing for 5 people in a bar or, 15,000 people, which we have, I'm trying to put something out there that every single person in that audience knows that we shared a moment, shared an experience that hopefully they'll never forget.
I love that.
And I'm just seeking connection in everything that I do, for better or worse. That's what does it for me.
Bro, you seem healed too. It's like you're on a healing journey for sure. But to even say that, you're very self-aware, man. You're very self-aware, and it's coming from a good place. If it really feels like coming from a good place, I can feel that. Because
I appreciate it, man.
Like you said, it can be negative when you're looking to overcome that fear of abandonment, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm saying.
Oh, it definitely has taken me into some dark places for sure.
But it can come. That's once it's corrected, it can come from a place of wholeness, right? Not from a place of lack.
Wow.
The connection, which I feel like it's coming from you now, is you're genuinely, because people can feel that too when you're seeking connection out of a place of lack. People can feel that, but you're not coming from that place.
Yeah, because then it seems desperate and inauthentic, and for me, it's like I know it's there already, and I know that the connection, the possibility for that through music for me. I know it's there. I know it's going to be there. It's just a matter of, can we find that moment to do it, to tap into that same frequency at the same time. But yeah, I feel very blessed and fortunate and grateful to have music as something definitively that I know that I can tap into to have that fulfill me, because I feel like a lot of people just, and I'm sure this shows up in your DMs too. I know I have something to say. I know I feel a certain way, or I have a certain message. I just don't know what to do to get it out there. And that feeling is so frustrating, man. Imagine when you first started, it was weighing on you. You knew that you had a vision for something, but you were starting from zero. No clients, no followers, no process, but you just knew it was weighing on you, So like, what would you tell that person who's sliding up in your DMs or at that point, day zero in their journey, but they know that there's something burning in them that they got to seek out?
Everyone starts at zero. Every single person. Tom Brady started at zero. I don't know. He's just coming to mind. Everyone starts at zero. Who has the most followers in the world? Whoever it is, they started at zero. The Rock? No, he used to be. He used to be on IG. I don't know.
Probably someone in that realm, but yeah.
He started at zero, right? And even if you hear those people's stories, like The Rock, his thing is called like $9 or something like that, right? Because he had $9 in his pocket when he was 20 something and then started that journey. But everyone starts at zero. Time goes by anyway. People were very confused about that.
Explain, go deeper on that, because I think it's a really good point.
Sure. We could pass away today, like we talked about, but if not, we'll be here in 6 months. We'll be here in 1 year. So why not put myself in 1 year in a better place? That's actual self-love.
Wow.
Like people think self-love is like pampering yourself or something like that. Actual self-love is that discipline to how can I put myself in a better place spiritually, physically, and mentally in 1 year? not just for myself, but when I'm better for everyone around me too. And whether that's social media, so what can I do? What's realistic? What posts do I make? And I think what blocks people is, if posting on social media, what blocks people is insecurity or doing it to get validation instead of trying to give.
Yep.
I always, something
and that's
that,
from a place of lack, like you would talk about.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. There's something that but the time one is 6 months goes by anyway. 1 year goes by anyway. So you might as well put yourself in a better place, and just little changes can put yourself in a better place in those things.
That's amazing, man. Well, a couple things just to wrap up. First of all, this was incredible having you on, man.
I really enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, dude. First of all, where can everybody find you for those of you who don't know who you are yet?
Sure. So my name, Blake Guss, Guss, Blake Guss, on all socials, and onlinemeditationevents.com. They could find a free live class, or they could also find how to get one-to-one guidance and support also. And also, if you're interested in getting your employees trained, or if there's conflicts going on at work too, that you'd like people to reflect on themselves and have more compassion, you could also seek a workshop.
Amazing, man. Well, thank you again for being on, brother. Anything else we want to chat about before we head out here?
I really appreciate you. Thank you so much, man. It's great to connect.
Absolutely. It's good seeing you after all these years, brother.
You too, brother.
Thank you again. Love you, man. Thank you for being on the show.